Hello, Gold Derby. I'm Daniel Montgomery here with Chris Beachum and Marcus Dixon to announce the nominees for the 14th annual Gold Derby Awards, honoring the best of motion pictures from the year 2015. We had a record turnout. More than 1,100 users participated in this round of voting, more than ever before. So without further ado, we're going to announce all 22 categories I believe we have, and getting started now with Best Foreign Language Film, actually. I'll take the first two categories, and then Marcus will announce, and Chris, and we'll keep going from there until we hit Best Picture. So the nominees, without further ado, for Best Foreign Language Film are The Assassin from Taiwan, Goodnight Mommy from Austria, Mustang from France, Son of Saul from Hungary, and Wild Tales from Argentina. And just one thing I should mention about our foreign language film category is that since not all of our users are able to see all of the films that are up for the Oscars, they're not all released during that eligibility period. We use the 2015 calendar year whenever things are released in the U.S. As our eligibility period, which is why Wild Tales, which was nominated for an Oscar last year, is nominated here this year. So next up, the nominees for Best Documentary. We've got Amy, Cartel Land, Going Clear, Scientology and the Prison of Belief, He Named Me Malala, and The Look of Silence.
All right, so Best Animated Feature. This one's a good one. The nominees are Anomalisa, The Good Dinosaur, Inside Out, The Peanuts Movie, and Shaun the Sheep Movie. And is visual effects next? I want to make sure I have the right list.
Yes, it's next on my list anyway.
Okay. Best visual effects. Ex Machina, Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, and Star Wars The Force Awakens.
And that is 5 for 5, the same as actually the Oscar list in that category.
And what about animated? It was only 4 for 5, is that right?
Animated, we only got actually 3 for 5 because there are two G Kids movies nominated at the Oscars. I'm guessing they just don't have the exposure to reach enough of our users to nominate them. A couple of G Kids movies did get a fair share of votes, but those films, let's see, when Marnie was there, which actually got an Oscar nomination, that actually finished 6th in our voting. And Boy in the World, which got an Oscar nomination, that finished 8th in our voting.
Do you have the list up for visual effects? I'm wondering what got 6th, like what just missed out.
Yep, I have that. Let me scroll up.
But this is a great list. I mean, so is the Oscars list.
Jurassic World just missed in 6th place. The Walk was in 7th, and then Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'll announce Best Sound. We don't do sound editing and sound mixing. We feel like, who knows really what the difference is. So let's just have one sound category and honor all the editors and mixers together. We have Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, Sicario, and The Force Awakens.
And that's pretty much, 4 of those 5 got both nominations at the Oscars. Sicario was nominated for just sound editing. So the only one we're missing from the Oscar list is Bridge of Spies, which is up for sound mixing.
Okay.
Had amazing sound mixing. Oh, just amazing.
Yeah, I walked out of the theater saying that. Best Original Song, Love Me Like You Do from 50 Shades of Grey, One Kind of Love from Love and Mercy, See You Again from Furious 7, Till It Happens to You from The Hunting Ground, and Writings on the Wall from Spectre. So only 2 matched there from the Oscars, right?
Wow.
Yep, and One Kind of Love from Love and Mercy was disqualified at the Oscars. Love Me Like You Do, 50 Shades of Grey got in, but for the different song, earned it by The Weeknd. And See You Again was snubbed, yeah.
In our chat box, John is asking, why did everyone vote for the same thing as the Oscars for visual effects? John, what did you vote? Go ahead and put that in the chat
And
box.
it's funny because I actually like that list. I mean, the fact that we brought in Ex Machina, which is an indie film for its visual effects, over something like I thought Jurassic World would get in. I personally didn't. I thought it was a lot of effects, but I didn't think they were great personally. So I'm kind of glad. I mean, the Oscars did a pretty good job in that category this year, and I think we did as well. The only one I might have brought in that I personally think I'm missing here is The Walk. I think that had great visuals that I probably would have included.
Oh, and people just keep watching. There's some surprises on the way, and on the song category, we don't always match up with the Oscars.
Yeah.
Right. In the chat box, AMG is very happy Writings on the Wall got nominated. So am I.
And moving on to the next music category, Best Score. The nominees are Carol, The Hateful Eight, Inside Out, Mad Max Fury Road, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. So in that category, we only have 3 out of 5 overlap. Inside Out and Mad Max didn't get into score at the Oscars.
It's going to be a tough one to figure out who I'm voting for.
Well, I know who I'm voting for. I don't know if I want to say it, but the one I'm voting for got snubbed at the Oscars, and I was very, very upset about that.
I think I could guess.
And it was Inside Out.
Yeah, I figured. Okay, the nominees for Best Production Design are Bridge of Spies, Carol, Crimson Peak, Mad Max Fury Road, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. Now, I believe that's only 2 out of the 5 at the Oscars, isn't it? Or 3 at the most.
Yeah, and Crimson Peak has not made many appearances anywhere in all of the guilds or other award shows.
Which just kind of surprised me. And yeah, Carol got in here. I remember that was I was surprised to see that snubbed at even the Art Directors Guild.
Should we do makeup and hairstyling now?
Let's.
You yourself or the category?
And we have 5 nominations instead of 3. For the life of me, I can't figure out why the Oscars have 3 nominations in this category. It's ridiculous.
It's the only category where they don't offer 5.
And it doesn't. And there's no reason to, because it's not like there are so few movies that employ makeup artists. I mean,
right.
you could go to 5 as easily as
even documentaries have makeup artists.
Seriously.
Right. And think of the Emmys. They have hairstyling for comedy, hairstyling for drama. And then prosthetic makeup and non-prosthetic. They probably have 20 categories.
And 5 nominees in each one.
Yeah. Well, here are the Gold Derby Film Award nominees. Black Mass, Carol, Mad Max Fury Road, The Revenant, and Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Another tough one to figure out.
And then I'll just do this one real quick. Film editing. The nominees are The Big Short, Mad Max Fury Road, The Revenant, Spotlight, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. I'm noticing a trend, a lot of Mad Max love going on.
And there is.
That all came from me. I was going to point out, I don't think it's been mentioned even when we did like Oscar nomination morning or anything else, but I just love the fact that the Oscars in here, Star Wars employs 2 women as editors.
Yes.
That's really nice.
So rare below the line. Like other than costumes and maybe hair and makeup, you rarely see women among the crafts.
In the chat box, Perks of Being a Griff said, I mean, BB-8's makeup was beautiful.
Well, let me continue here. I've got something I know a lot about, which is costume design next. The 5 nominees are Brooklyn, Carol, Cinderella, Crimson Peak, and Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, another nomination for Crimson Peak, another nomination for Mad Max Fury Road. It's going that way.
And 2 for Sandy Powell, just like at the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
Cinematography. Nominees are Carol, The Hateful Eight, Mad Max Fury Road, The Revenant, and Sicario. Do any of those seem familiar?
Yep, that's another category where we went 5 for 5 with the Oscars. Movies that just missed out. The Martian didn't quite get in, and Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Those were 6 and 7. Beasts of No Nation, I would have thought would have done better. It finished 8th. And a movie I voted for, even though I didn't even personally like it, The Assassin, in 9th place. I thought it was a beautiful-looking movie, and I could not sit through it as a story. Okay, moving on to Best Breakthrough Performer. And we don't have actual films attached to these. We're just voting for these performers for their overall year, whether they had 1 year or whether they had 4. Wink, wink. The nominees for Best Breakthrough Performer are Abraham Attah, Daisy Ridley, Amy Schumer, Jacob Tremblay, and Alicia Vikander.
And just in case people start complaining about Amy Schumer, do you guys want to explain how she got in here?
A lot of people voted for her.
No, I mean in the break.
Yeah, we all have discussions behind the scenes about who's eligible, who's not in this category, because it's there's some people on kind of a fine line, but we just felt like, and we've done this for TV too. If it's a breakthrough year for them in the film world, which this was really Amy Schumer's first year in film, that they belong there. I will say another person that fell on the opposite side of the line. We also have a rule: if you've ever been in the breakthrough performer category, you can't be in it again. And we had Brie Larson in there 3 or 4 years ago. That year she had short-term 12, so that's why she's not eligible here.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's this category was decided so fast. Just the consensus around this group of 5 was so strong. There were 200 points, actually 204 points between 5th and 6th place. So there was really no one else even threatening this group. Just missing out by 200 points. Adam Driver missed in 6th place. Emery Cohen, John Boyega was in the top 10. Maya Taylor, even from Tangerine, she was in the top 10. So this would have been an interesting category no matter what.
Lots of love for John Boyega in the chat box. I not predicted, but I voted for him as well. But I'm happy with this list of 5. This is I mean, talk about a great group of breakthroughs here. And okay, Best Ensemble. This is a great one. And on the article you're doing, Daniel, are you going to list all of the names that are up for Ensemble here?
Yep, they're all listed.
Okay, because it's too many to name right now on the chat.
Just name the film. I named as many as I could that I thought were reasonable to include.
Right.
Yeah, when you see the list on the nomination page, you'll see that we're a little more generous than like SAG Awards. We anybody that really had a substantial enough role in the movie.
Mm-hmm. So the 5 nominees for Best Ensemble are The Big Short, The Hateful Eight, Mad Max Fury Road, Spotlight, and Steve Jobs.
Yeah,
and my number 1 choice fell out at the last possible moment. I just thought Inside Out was one of the best ensembles I've seen in years.
Yeah, and it was in there for a while. I was kind of disappointed it missed out too. I think I voted for it also. Yeah, that was and ultimately it missed the category by 3 points.
It's funny, only 2 of these match up with the SAG Ensemble Award, but yeah. I think our group of 5 films is maybe better. I mean, The Hateful Eight really should have been in a SAG. They just didn't see it, I guess. They didn't see screeners.
No, they didn't. They didn't see that in time.
And actually, Star Wars: The Force Awakens tied Inside Out for points total, so it too was just 3 points out of a nomination position.
Wow.
Well, I've got the 2 screenplay categories next. We'll start with adapted. Adapted screenplay nominees are The Big Short, Brooklyn, Carol, Room, and Steve Jobs. So a similar lineup to the Oscars, but Steve Jobs does jump into our listing. Original screenplay, Bridge of Spies, Ex Machina, The Hateful Eight, Inside Out, and Spotlight.
Now, what's interesting about the adapted category for me is that even though we've seen all the love that Mad Max Fury Road has been getting, it wasn't that close for a screenplay nomination. It was in 7th place, and then another movie that's gotten a lot of love from us so far, Star Wars, was in 10th place. Revenant was in 9th place. The Martian just missed. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, The Martian was 1 point out of nomination position.
1 point.
1 point. That's literally the difference between someone ranking it 2nd and 3rd.
Wow.
Okay.
But he's got an Oscar nomination, so he'll be all right.
Bush versus Gore.
The nominees for Best Supporting Actor, or Best Supporting Actress, we'll start with. The nominees are Jennifer Jason Leigh, The Hateful Eight; Rooney Mara, Carol; Alicia Vikander, The Danish Girl; Alicia Vikander, Ex Machina; and Kate Winslet, Steve Jobs. And I'm giving all of you forum posters and users and voters the side eye now for putting Alicia and Rooney in this category instead of lead. You had the opportunity. They got a lot of votes there. They didn't get enough votes there. They got enough votes here. So don't complain to us.
Is this is the first time someone has ever been in the same category against themselves, right? We have Alicia ×2 here for supporting actress.
It might be. I can't be sure that Meryl Streep hasn't done it at some point.
I'm wondering if we could go back and look. It won't be on this video when you watch later, but Leo might have done that the year of The Departed and Blood Diamond, but I don't.
That's right.
And it has happened on TV, but people have a lot more opportunity. If they had a couple of guest starring roles or whatever. But yeah, this is. And we had to talk amongst ourselves. The Oscars don't allow this, so where are we going to allow it? And everybody felt like we should. So there you go.
And for the record, if we hadn't allowed it, the actress in 6th position would have been Kristen Stewart for Clouds of Sils Maria.
There's a lot of people sounding off about this in the chat box. Not the Alicia versus Alicia, but the fact that they're in supporting instead of lead. John says, category fraud all the way. Perks of Being a Griff says, boo. Dominic Cobb says, boo. This isn't our decision. This is your guys' decision.
boo each other. It's on you. I didn't vote for them in supporting. I wouldn't have.
Doesn't bother me one bit.
Never
has, never will.
To be honest, this is where they were campaigned, so this is where they should go. That should be it. It should be wherever they're campaigning. If your issue is that they're in supporting, then boo the campaigners, not us.
Well, moving on to Best Supporting Actor, which I think is going to make probably more people happy than Supporting Actress.
Tell them the number here.
Yeah, there are actually 6 nominees in this category. There was a tie in 5th place, so we have 6 nominees instead of 5. And those are Benicio del Toro, Sicario; Idris Elba, Beasts of No Nation; Tom Hardy, The Revenant; Oscar Isaac, Ex Machina; Mark Rylance, Bridge of Spies; and Sylvester Stallone, Creed, which I believe is only 2 of the Oscar nominees among our 6 for Best Supporting Actor.
That category this whole season has been no 2 groups have even remotely agreed. Although the variety of people have always been around 12 to 14, getting mentions here and there, but it's and we will never ever tell you who was tied for that last slot.
Yeah.
And we don't want to influence the voting.
For the conspiracy theorists, it was an exact tie. It was not a 2% rule. It was an exact tie.
Yeah.
And of the Oscar nominees, actually, in the category who missed out here, Mark Ruffalo was in 8th place. Christian Bale was in 9th place. And who was the last one? I can't even remember who the last one was. Oh, no, actually, we got 3 of the Oscar nominees in here, not 2.
Good list.
Right. So this is a big one. Best Actress. 5 nominees in this one. The nominees are Cate Blanchett for Carol, Brie Larson for Room, Charlotte Rampling, 45 Years, Saoirse Ronan for Brooklyn, and Charlize Theron for Mad Max Fury Road. That's 4 for 5 at the Oscars. No Jennifer Lawrence. Looking at it now, I just realized no Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence finished in 9th. She was not close. And guess what? To continue our discussion from supporting actress, Rooney Mara finished 6th, and Alicia Vikander in The Danish Girl finished 7th in this category. So you guys, not quite enough of you decided to vote for them in the lead race. And actually, Daisy Ridley even was in 8th place ahead of Jennifer Lawrence. So Jennifer Lawrence wasn't even really close here.
And our rule would be, another thing we've discussed is you can't get nominated twice for the same performance, unlike Alicia on 2 different performances. So if they had gotten enough votes, or anybody gets enough votes in lead and supporting, just like the Oscars would, whichever category where they got the most votes is where we would nominate them.
Lots of people in the chat box very happy, going back to supporting actor. Happy about Benicio del Toro. Very happy about Oscar Isaac. Idris Elba. So, yeah, I agree. Very good category. Should we go to Best Actor now?
Sure.
Okay. Nominees for Best Actor are Matt Damon for The Martian, Leonardo DiCaprio for The Revenant, Michael Fassbender for Steve Jobs, Eddie Redmayne for The Danish Girl, and Jacob Tremblay for Room. Great job, Jacob.
Watch the chat room now; it's going to explode.
and this sort of baffled us while we were watching the votes come in. The fact that there was that Jacob Tremblay had significantly more support in lead actor than he had in supporting actor. So our users everyone who voted decided that yes, Jacob Tremblay campaigned as a supporting actor. He's really a lead actor, but did not decide that for Alicia Vikander and Rooney Mara, which is interesting. Some interesting people missed out here. Michael B. Jordan was actually in 6th place for Creed, but he wasn't that close. He was about 100 points out of nomination position.
I voted for Michael B. Jordan. I thought he was great.
Bryan Cranston finished in 7th, who is the only Oscar nominee who missed out on our list. Abraham Attah, who's actually a breakthrough performer nominee, he finished in 8th place. So he finished ahead of Johnny Depp too. And another one I want to mention, speaking of category confusion, poor Paul Dano. He did have significant support for Love and Mercy. He had significant support in lead, and he had significant support in supporting. If you had pooled those 2 groups together, it's possible he might have been nominated in one or the other if all that support had been consolidated in one place. So that's what happened there.
Since Will Smith was snubbed, do you think he's going to snub the Gold Derby Film Awards this year?
Well, he might not, but then Jada will, and he'll have to.
Okay, final 2 categories. We'll do them sort of hand in hand here. Director, we have Todd Haynes for Carol, Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu for The Revenant, Tom McCarthy for Spotlight, George Miller for Mad Max Fury Road, and Ridley Scott for The Martian. Anything interesting you want to add there?
Yep. Well, we've got 2 nominees who missed out at the Oscars. Todd Haynes came in here, and Ridley Scott came in here. And I guess it's not too surprising. I mean, even going back to Far From Heaven, our users have been much more in the tank for Todd Haynes than the Academy have been. So there's been quite a bit of support for that film. Interesting, who just missed, J.J. Abrams was in 6th place for Star Wars. The 2 Oscar nominees who missed out here, Lenny Abramson was in 7th, and Adam McKay was in 8th. And surprising, that Alex Garland was actually in 9th place for Ex Machina, and Pete Docter was in 10th for Inside Out, which disappointed me a little bit. Pete Docter was my number 1 choice for directing.
Okay, here are our 10 nominees for Best Picture. We do 10, flat 10. We don't have a sliding scale or anything like that. So our 10 nominees are Brooklyn, Carol, Ex Machina, Inside Out, Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, Room, Spotlight, and Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Woohoo!
Yes, I did not say The Big Short. It's not nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah,
Wow.
Big Short picked up 3 nominations from us, but it did not get a picture, director, or actor like it got at the Oscars, which it will be interesting. I don't think that's. I can't remember if that's happened at all. You know, if it ends up going all the way to win Best Picture at the Oscars, if there's ever been an instance where we didn't even nominate it, and we had 10 slots this year, so that would be kind of.
I don't
incredible.
know the year, and we can look at it. There was a year, I think, where the Best Picture, back when we had 5 now, that's totally different. When we had 5, the Best Picture winner, I think, did not get in one year with us. I don't know what it was. I can't remember off the top of my head.
People in the chat box are very shocked about No Big Short, but they're very happy about Carol, about Inside Out, about Room, Ex Machina, Star Wars, another Inside Out. I think overall people are happy.
And if you think about it, I mean, if you count Inside Out as sort of sci-fi fantasy, then half of this ballot is sci-fi fantasy. Inside Out, Mad Max, The Martian, Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and Ex Machina. Half sci-fi fantasy, which is kind of incredible. The Big Short actually was in 11th place, and then you have Hateful Eight was 12th, Steve Jobs 13th, Creed was in the top 15, and so was Sicario.
And we can confirm we are not going to add an 11th nominee like the Critics' Choice did. We are not going to add Big Short. This is your guys' 10 that you picked. No going back, no do-overs.
It's a great top 10.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We have 6 of the 8 Oscar nominees plus 4 films that the Oscars didn't nominate.
Yeah, John says this list is better than the Oscars.
Yeah. It usually is. And the totals, just want to talk about
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Mad Max Fury Road is the top nominee with 12 nominations. Then there is Carol, who's actually nominated 10 times. The Revenant is nominated 9 times. Star Wars: The Force Awakens is nominated 7 times. So those are your top nominees.
Well, we're going to publish this list of nominations here in just a couple of minutes, and the Prediction Center will be open where you can start making your picks. But let me warn you, I mean, we only do this twice a year, once for TV, once for film. You know, everything else you do on the website in the Prediction Center, you're ranking everything that's available. Here, it's going to be more challenging than you think when you remember or realize that you drag over one thing in each category. You don't rank. It really is cringe-inducing in some categories when you realize you can't show that support by at least putting your second favorite down and your third favorite down. You just drag over one, whoever you want to win that category in all 22 categories. So you're gonna be sort of sniffling as you leave behind things that you love.
This is a good way to do it because it's going to make sure the most passionate actors and tech people in movies actually win.
We did this years ago. We didn't want some consensus building behind some, everybody's third favorite, somehow wins because, some people hate a certain movie and want to rank it last, even though, a lot of people are ranking it first. So
or people doing that strategically, whether they believe it or not. So if you think one film is a strong contender and you want something else to win, you might sabotage it by ranking it last.
Right. So it's just your passionate support behind your favorite in each category, and those points add up, and then we announce that Thursday before the Oscars.
Yeah, and so those are your nominations. As Chris mentioned, we'll have that list published very soon in the next few minutes. And thank you so much for watching and continue ranting and raving, but most importantly, voting. Thank you very much.
Great nominees this year. Great nominees.